Sometimes I think that I'm unstoppable. Yeah, ready to go, man, lock and load. That's right, I swear to God that I could drop you, bro. Yeah, I got a shot and I ain't stopping, no. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable. That's how I know that I'm unstoppable. Yeah, let's go. I don't care what.
All right, so the next one I'm going to go over is weight training. And weight training can be good and it can be very bad. One thing that I did when I was younger was I got into more of a bodybuilding routine because I thought I needed to be stronger on the bike. And what I was doing 8, 9, 10 reps of a heavy weight and then taking a break, catching my breath, and then doing it and repeating. You want to stick to more circuit training. And in our strength video, the one I did with Ben Moberg, we talk about circuit training. You need to keep your heart rate up while you're doing the weights. Try not to have bursts of energy with a long break. You're training your body to go out hard, to go out fast, and then gas out. So with the strength training, I prefer to do body weight training, and I don't really like grabbing too many weights because I can get carried away with it. And then the next thing you know, I go out to the track and I'm pumping up and I'm telling myself, why did I do that with the weights? But again, refer the strength training video to get a more in detail explanation on a good way to train for motocross. On to the next one. All right, so the next one I'm going to go over is going out too hard, too fast. And if anybody's ever been to a supercross or a outdoor national race, you notice how many spinning bikes you see or people warming up before they go out. Well, when you go to a local race or even a local pro race, how many people do you see doing that? Hardly any, right? You'll maybe see a couple people jogging or doing some jumping jacks and they do 20 jumping jacks. Well, that's not really warm up. It's better than nothing. But what happens is if you go from cold, most races start in the morning at 7 a.m. It's probably pretty cold out. And then you go out and you try to go as fast as you can on the first lap. You're going to get arm pump. And the downfall from that is you have already pumped all that blood in your muscle, the lactic acid, and you are going to be chasing that lactic acid all day. And it's going to take you till the end of the day. And then finally at the end of the day, you might have one good moto without arm pump. And then you'll forget that you've been pumped up the whole day. So if you do go to a race, a local race, and you don't have the capability to do a good proper 20-25 minute warm up before you go out on the track to get the blood flowing, the muscles loose, take it easy when you first go out on the track. Go out, do a lap at 50%, then go 60%, and then maybe by lap 3 or 4, go to race pace. And like, even if it is a race day and you're going out, wait till the last couple laps to really get on it. And by going slower too, you get the benefits of seeing the track, looking at different lines. You're not trying to race and win practice. Don't go out too hard. You will be chasing arm pump the whole day. If you can, try to find a way to warm up at the track, a bicycle, a long jog, but it needs to be more than 30 seconds. Like the 25 jumping jacks before you go out, it's not going to do a whole lot. Loosen that body up. And if you can't do it prior to getting on the bike, take it slow when going out. Observe the track, look at the track, look at all the lines, and just take it easy and build your pace up as you go. Every lap, get a little faster, and then wait until you're 4, 5, 6, 7 laps in until you're going at race pace. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna go over is lever positioning and bar setup. When I get a new bike, first thing I do is I take an 8mm wrench and I move my levers, brake lever and clutch lever, over as far to the inside as they can go. And as you can see from this picture, if you look at the gap between my hand and the inside end of the grip, you can see a diagonal, like almost a triangle. And what that does is it allows your elbows to naturally go up when you ride. If you run the levers in the stock position, you will have to grab straight on in order to grab them, because in the stock position, they're so close to the outside of the bar that your fingers, in order to grab them with your elbows up, your fingers are literally over the rubber boot when you try to grab your levers. And another thing too is bar setup. The stock bars are typically made for somebody 5'10 and below. If you're over 5'10, try a taller bar setup because it will make you round your back. If the bars are too low, you're too tall for the cockpit of the bike, and you will have to hunch over it in order to grab your bars. So you will be hunching and putting a lot of weight into your arms while you're riding. If you're shorter, try a lower bend. If you're 5'4", 5'5", try a lower bend. But typically if you're shorter, the stock bar setup is going to be pretty good. But if you're taller, mess with some higher bars, straighter bars, and mess with your lever setup. It's huge for arm pump. If you are riding with your elbows down, you're putting all the pressure into your forearms, into your arms while you're riding. So it's as simple as get an 8mm and slide your levers over as far to the inside as you can go. It helps with the leverage on the brake, leverage on the clutch, and it also automatically puts your elbows up. All right, this one's gonna be pretty quick, but this is something I always remind myself is tight legs, loose arms, tight legs, loose arms. I will actually tell myself that when I ride. And just remember, in order to have loose arms, you have to ride with a straight back. So I know I've gone over this and I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but having a straight back will allow you to relax and relax your arms. And you want everything in your legs. Even when you turn, it should be done with your legs and not with your arms. You're not driving a car. So everything on a dirt bike should be done with your legs. So if you're out there and you're getting arm pump, remind yourself, tight legs, loose arms. But it all ties back to the prior videos. Proper technique, proper setup, proper lever placement. But one thing I always remind myself is tight legs, loose arms. All right, the next one is going to be the abuse of the clutch and the abuse of the rear brake. And the way I like to fix that is I go out and do no clutch motos. If I'm having a rough day and I'm feeling a little tight on the bike, I go do no clutch motos. And that also fixes your rear brake. It fixes the rear brake problem because you cannot do a no clutch moto and go into a corner riding your rear brake deep into the corner. And you got to look at it this way. You're on a 240-pound motorcycle. Every time you ride that bike into the middle of a corner, you have to negotiate your bike out of the middle of the corner with the clutch, the throttle, and you have 240 pounds of metal trying to jerk out of your arms. Doing no clutch motos will help you get a flow, it'll help you get your braking position down, and it'll help you not abuse the rear brake. It's very important. It's a skill that even the top riders do. They do no clutch motos, they do no rear brake motos. It helps your flow on the track, it gets your braking points down right, and you don't create that stop and go riding style where the bike is lurching out on you and then you're trying to pull yourself and you're trying to catch up with the bike the whole time. It creates that flow, it creates that consistency. So be honest with yourself. Are you a clutch and a rear brake abuser? You need to practice no clutch motos and even try some no rear brake motos, but be safe. All right, so if you have gotten all the way to the end and you are doing everything perfect and everything is great and you're like, this doesn't make any sense, this guy is crazy, you may want to go get checked out. Now, I'm not a doctor, but there has been cases where people have had back problems and rib problems where their nerves are pinched. All the sensation to your arms, everything we do comes from the spine. So maybe go get your back checked out or your rib cage checked out and find a good chiropractor that does, if you like chiropractors, that does the back and the ribs and can take some x-rays and check to see if you have anything going on, anything's pinched off and you're not getting the proper sensation to your arms. It could be a medical thing because you could be the picture perfect rider and it's actually something wrong in your back. So that's the last one I'm going to leave you off with. Thank you everybody for watching, and I hope this helps you try to figure out why you're getting arm pump. I know it's not fun and it's so frustrating to get arm pump and just have people pass you that you know you should be beating.